How's it going, guys? In this video, we're going to look at 5 tips that we've taken from our remix of Mike Morrisey's track, No Gas. So, yeah, hope you enjoy it. Let us know in the comments. Cheers, guys.
So, yeah, I've got another 5 tips, and they're just like things that I can think of. Basically, this track is our remix of No Gas from Mike Morrisey. It's out on Black 7. And yeah, it's basically 5 things that I've picked from here that I think may be useful for people to know. So yeah, the first one is don't always just use one bass patch. So in this one, let me just play the track for you actually, just in case you haven't heard it already. I'll include a link as well, so you can listen to it properly, but here's just a little clip first. Also, just apologies if we get any little clips. When I've got OBS open, the CPU goes through the roof a little bit, so just bear that in mind if you hear any little clicks or anything like that. But yeah, the 5 tips are, number 1 is don't always just use one bass patch. So if you've seen any of the other videos, I did a bassline one where we basically remade the bassline from Try and Stop Me. If you haven't watched that, go. I'll put a link to that in the description somewhere. Just go and watch that. Just shows how we make our bass sounds. But yeah, in this one, we didn't just use one sound. So we basically just used a combination of a few different sounds, like slightly different in each one. And then, yeah, they basically play off each other. And it just gives you a little bit of a different sound than what you'd get if you just used the one patch. So let me just solo the kick and bass for you. I'll just take the kick out actually and just listen to the bass. So you can hear there how they're all just slightly different, but they're all kind of like talking to each other. So like it's the same principle as when you're doing your percussion and you're trying to get like a call and response situation. It's exactly the same, but just with different bass sounds. So like each of those sounds has got like a slightly different kind of, don't know what word I'm looking for. Yeah, just a different sound to it. And it basically, yeah, together it just makes something new rather than if you're just using one patch. Yeah, it's just a different sound basically. But yeah, so that's tip 1, is use more than one bass line, playing off each other to, yeah, make a new sound. Tip 2 is actually kind of similar, or not similar, it just complements tip 1 basically. So once you've got your bass line, a lot of the time your percussion sounds can actually like add a lot to your bass line, and like, yeah, like if you're like, a lot of listeners won't be able to pick it out, and you might just think that it's part of the bass line or it is the bass line. But let me just show you these toms in this track that, like, I think they just add so much, and without them, it just sounds completely bare. So, I'll show you it with. And I'll turn these toms off. Just turn them back on. So it's just these. So there's actually a little click on them that I didn't notice, but oh well, it was in there. So yeah, those toms there, if you listen to it in the context of the track, it sounds like a really like bassy sound. So kind of add in like the steppiness. turn them off. You like really miss them when they're gone. So yeah, tip number 2 is using percussion sounds that are like lower in the frequency spectrum to complement the bass. So number 3 is using simple chords but making them sound more complex than what they are. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So yeah, this one's about using the same chord, so not going mad with like you don't need to be fucking Mozart or whatever, like with your chords or chord progressions. Like what I do a lot of the time is I'll just use one chord or maybe like 2, but I'll just like try and make it sound different. So in this one here, this sound is just one chord. Like one chord, but obviously it sounds quite interesting. So I'll just show you how I did it, because I've actually found the patch that I use. So if I turn that filter off and then just open this patch up, like that's the sound in its like raw form, if you get me. And then all I've done from there is just put an auto filter on, changed it to like a band pass, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. I've probably added some reverb and some delay. Yeah, definitely reverb on there. I think there's a little bit of delay as well. But what I want to get at with this tip really is just that you can use the same chord, but like make it sound more interesting by like moving something else. So yeah, whether that be a filter, an EQ, or yeah, maybe even just one of these parameters on here. But like if you don't want to get too complicated about it, like just find a sound and then just stick things on after it. And then yeah, so if I just play this minor chord now and just try and get something similar to what we've got there. Like that just sounds shit, doesn't it? Like it just sounds absolutely terrible. Whereas if I turn this filter on now and I do something similar, exact same chords, but that filter's on, and I'm just gonna move the frequency up and down a little bit on there, then you'll just see the difference. Obviously, it's probably still gonna sound shit because I'm doing it live, and yeah, it's probably not gonna be in time, but hopefully you get the gist of it. Oh, hang on, I still had that on. Wait there, let's go again. It is going to sound shit, but fuck it. It was shite, but you get it. Like, it was the same chords. Spend a bit more time on it than what I've just done there. And yeah, you don't have to like worry too much about playing different chords. You can play the same chord, but just move something else. And you can get something that hopefully sounds good. I like this sound. I think it's really like, it's quite different, like different to what we've done before. Yeah, I think it sounds pretty decent. So that's that one. Tip number 4 is to use samples in a different way than they were intended. So I'll show you what I mean by this. So basically, as I was listening through this track, trying to figure out what I could basically show you, I found this little loop, which I've like used as a synth. But then when I had a look to try and find the original, what was it called? SSPP2127. So it's that there. Oh, I've already got it here. There it is. So it's actually a bass loop. So listen to the original. Oh wait, there, I've already put something on there. I put overdrive on it. So that's the original loop. And And then, yeah, in the track, we've ended up with this one. So in fact, I haven't even changed. It's exactly the same, but it's just being used as a synth rather than as a bass line. And then, yeah, all I will have done for it is put an EQ on it, obviously, to get rid of all the bass frequencies, because we've already got a bass line. And then it sounds like I've put some kind of distortion, or would that have been a little ringy? It could actually be, could be that, like a bit crushery type of sound. Maybe that, I'm not sure. But yeah, the idea of this tip is that when you're looking for your samples, don't always just think that if you're looking in the bass line bit that you've got to use it as a bass line. If you like the pattern that it's playing or whatever, just, yeah, tweak it in a different way. You could even go mad with that and put, do you know what I mean? Put over delays and that on it. But yeah, that was what I wanted to say about that one, is, yeah, using the samples in a different way. And then tip number 5 is resampling your own sounds. So I'll just show you what I mean by that one. So yeah, we've already gone through this sound here, haven't we? So obviously, like, that sound there is like yours now. You've made that, so you spent the time doing it, so you might as well try and reuse it in another way. So like, if you just listen to this, so that little effect there, I'll just show it you in the context of the track. So it's just before the drop, but this sound is actually like a resample of this sound. So like, I do this a lot because, like, if you've bothered to either make something yourself that you know sounds good with the track, or you've found something, so like a vocal, for example, or yeah, even if you found, like, I don't know, like a chord stab or something that sounds good with your track, like, try and use it to its, like, try and use it as many times as you can. But obviously, like, you can't just use it the exact same because it's just going to sound too repetitive. But if you can change it in some way to make it sound like a new sound, then yeah, you can just make the most of it. Then you're not trying to find new sounds all the time. Sorry, you're just like making them from something that you've already got. So I'll just try and show you an example. I don't know exactly what I use to do this, but one that I like to use quite a lot, and I'll probably use it on, I reckon I probably use it on every track, to be honest, because if you're a little bit stuck, in fact, I might have even shown this on a previous video, I can't remember, but it's worth going over again if you haven't seen it. This is a new version as well, actually, Tantra 2, so you might have seen me use the other version, but it does the exact same thing, to be fair. But yeah, so let's try this tip out live, see if we can come up with something good. If not, then just you're gonna have to just go and try it yourself. But yeah, resampling it. So we've already made this sound now, so we've made that. So what we're gonna do is, obviously, like, if you've, depending on how you've made it, if it's not in audio, like, I would just freeze track, and then right click it again, and then click flatten, and then you'll get the audio of it. And then yeah, I would create a new audio track. Probably to start with, I would just copy the whole lot, Command C, copy, and then copy it into there, and I'll stick this Tantra on it, and then let's just solo this channel for now and see what we come up with. So I'll just flick through the presets a lot of the time. So sequence, sometimes these filter ones are good. To be honest, like, I'm just gonna, for the ease of this video, just gonna go with that one, and we'll see whether we can get something from it. So I'm just going to record that in. So resample. Actually, yeah. If you don't know how to do this, actually, I'll actually go through it. So if you ever want to like just record something out of the track that's already in there, so just Command T to make a new track, and then on here you can either, if you click resampling, it'll basically resample anything that's playing. So obviously it'll either, like, if you're listening to the whole track, it'll resample the whole track, or if you've soloed a couple of things, it will just listen to that. Or you can select your input. So we know that we want to take the audio from this channel here, 65, so we can just select channel 65. So now this channel is going to take its audio from channel 65, and if you click that to in, it just means that it's like taking the input from there. So then if we arm that channel now and then click record, we should, even if we take that off solo, we should only get the audio from there. So let's try it. So yeah, it's worked. So it's recorded it. I'm going to turn the original one off. Turn that one on to off or auto. It doesn't really matter now. But let me just turn this one off, just so we've got an idea of what we've actually recorded. So, yeah, obviously this was like the first preset that I came to, but you can see how obviously this sound that I ended up with is slightly different, but how that tantra, literally just from the first thing that I went on, how you can so yeah, a little bit different to what I ended up with, but that's the theory, is taking audio that's already in the track, putting it through some kind of effects. Tantra's brilliant. Any delay, so Echo Boy is brilliant. Tell you what, I'll show you a couple of the other ones. Yeah, so I love the, where is it? Sound Toys ones. Echo Boy is really good. Crystallizer's really cool. You can get some really different sounds out of that. I'm not going to list them off, but yeah. Tip number 5 was to resample sounds that's already in your track. So yeah, that's it for this one. If you've got anything that you're struggling with and you want us to do a video on it, then drop it in the comments, and yeah, we'll try and get round to them. Cheers, guys.